Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down how you can build an audience of qualified buyers, but instead of talking about it, I'm going to show you how we actually do it as a team so you guys can implement it for yourself. Today I'm here with my setter.
I'm Aiden, I'm his setter. I handle the sales part of his business.
And with my creative director, Sean, who, before you continue, who has put everything together. He's crushed it on this whole studio setup, everything. He's done an amazing job, so big shout out to him. Shout out to Aiden. But yeah, Sean, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Sean, Josh's creative director. I've been his creative director since February. It's a blessing to be here and I'm excited to start. Today I'm going to be talking about content strategy, how you can package your content, and how you can execute your ideas.
The biggest mistake that most people make when they're trying to build an audience of qualified buyers is they're positioning themselves as a generalist. And how they do that is they're posting content based on assumptions, or they're copying their competitors. If you do that, you're a commodity. The biggest lever a business owner can pull right now is to use their sales team. They're not just there to close deals. They're not just there to set appointments. They're there for you to use their data as content ideas. Because if you start making content ideas based on your sales team, now you move with intention, you know exactly what problems you're solving, and you position yourself as a specialist, right? So that goes to you. Like, what do you do specifically that's actually going to help the content perform and attract ICP leads?
So the biggest thing that I do to push the business forward as much as possible is two things. Firstly, communicate with Josh, communicate with Sean, communicate with the whole content team. That's when they'll have all the knowledge from the DMs, all the context, so that they can actually make an informed decision of what content to post.
Why is that important for you?
And that's important because it's in the DMs that you're going to know what problems the ICP is going to face, what objections that we're getting, what the type of ICP we're getting, who they are, what they do, what they like. Once we've got all of that, that's where the data tracking comes in. So once you track all of those pieces of data and you've got that all to refer back to as a basis, you can use that in your content. And that's why I talked to Josh. So I talked to Sean.
The next important question is asking this guy, okay, what's the quality of the leads? What's their intention level? Based on what he says, it really determines what type of content we make. Yeah. If they're really high intent, all we need to do, post one story sequence CTA, we'll get a bunch of inbounds and we can start setting them and start pushing them towards the book call.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
And we got 50 from one story sequence.
Yeah, if the lead quality and lead intention is super low, then it goes back to solving their problems, right? Because at the end of the day, that just shows us that they don't see us as someone who can solve their problems, right? That's why it's super important for me to constantly ask you those questions. It's also super important for you to tell me whenever you need a story sequence as well. Because story sequences always revive the inbox when they're dead.
Yeah, and that's why communication between us is so important. That's why we're talking every day. You call me every day, I text you every day, because we need that. Otherwise, the content team's not going to know what's happening in the DMs, and the DMs are not going to be able to communicate what's happening to the content team.
Yeah, like again, like the marketing is a direct correlation to how the sales team performs. So why wouldn't both teams perform together?
Yeah.
Too many business owners try to separate the two, but that's completely wrong.
And that's why I'm not just a setter. I'm not just in the DMs doing conversations. I have to be part of that content ideation process, give them ideas based on what I'm talking about with the leads.
Of course, and this is also another reason why I'm not just treating the appointment setters as just an appointment setter, which is also a reason why Aiden is on this video today, right? Because I also want him to grow and I also want him to develop into an A player that's going to think of new solutions that's going to push the business forward. Treat your setter as just a setter. All they're going to do is send messages. They're not going to track the data. They're not going to communicate with your content team. And then your business is just going to stay stagnant and you're going to wonder, why am I not growing? It also stems back down to how you manage the team. That's going to affect the research and ideation of your business. And it's directly going to affect quality of leads that you're going to get as well. Now that you guys understand the problems that you guys are getting from your sales team, how can we actually ideate this process? Ideating is super simple. All you have to do is find a validated solution to the problem that your setter has presented, right? So throw me a random problem.
Not being able to attract the qualified leads.
I have a validated solution, which means I also have a validated idea. We have fixed this problem because over the past 6 days, we have generated over 800 followers and the majority of them were ICP from one carousel. But yeah, like that's how you come up with a validated idea, right? It all stems back down to your solutions. Just because we have a validated idea, it doesn't actually mean it's going to work. You can have the best idea, you can have the best sauce, but if it's packaged in the wrong way, no one's going to watch. So which is why I take the data that you give me, I come up with ideas, and I go to my creative director, Sean, who's really good at producing content. And this is where we find a way to execute it, how we pre-produce, post-production, and then distribute it as well. So we'll bring in Sean now. So as I was saying, you could have the best idea, you can have the best sauce, but if it's not packaged correctly, no one's going to watch it, right? Which is why it's super important that the workflow looks like this. It's research, ideation, and formatting. Because the success of a video stems from the format. I can imagine like you scroll on your For You page every single day and you see the same pattern of videos constantly pop up and they're constantly working. That's what format is. It's just the packaging of your idea. And Sean, how do you like come up with formats for us to execute?
I think the biggest thing, or the first thing anyone should consider, not even us, when it comes to that formats, is what is like your super strength. So some people are very good at storytelling. Some people are very good at breaking things down. What I've learned from today is like, for example, breakdown content isn't our super strength, but then talking heads are, right? You can very much like tell a story. Any ideas that you have in your head, you have a good skill of being able to communicate that to a level that even a 5-year-old could understand. You know, I remember when I first joined, like I didn't even know what Dream Follow was, and I was able to understand it after one conversation with you. So understanding your skill set, your strengths when it comes to your communication is the first thing you have to consider, because something that we can both agree on outside of ideation, outside of formats, is if your delivery is messed up, like the video is not going to perform well. If you lack conviction in a talking head, then there's no point in using talking heads. You know, it's better to use like a B-roll or a voiceover. When it comes to finding and innovating, that's when we begin to look at not only the competitors in our own niche, but also at things outside of our niche. And that doesn't have to be on social media. We've got a Pinterest board for our brand that we look at to peel references from when it comes to B-roll, when it comes to lighting, different settings that we want to film at.
Why is it so important to do that?
Something that a lot of people fall into is everyone's taught to copy the best performing thing within your industry. But what ends up happening is you don't really borrow their authority, you probably give them more of anything because they become more recognized because you use their format. For example, our clone format, what ended up happening is other people were using it, but everyone was still thinking about you.
Yeah, and I'm curious, like it's impossible to create a format by yourself. So that being said, knowing that you have to copy formats, how can you produce a format that's uniquely yours?
I have a philosophy that the idea of not having to reinvent the wheel has made a lot of people lazy. I'm not saying that you have to make everything from scratch, but you have to learn how to innovate. So the clone format was always a thing, but then like how we went and executed it is we made it cinematic. Then it started becoming a bit more saturated, so we added a third clone. And that's not something that a lot of people can do. So you need to be able to take your existing ideas and think about like, how can I actually change this? And it all starts from like, I guess, beginning to enjoy what you do as well, because then you actually like feel inspired to do the work. Like with us, we were just tired of the split screen videos. Like we'd post it and we'd feel nothing from posting that. I'm not trying to be philosophical, but you do have to put in a level of effort and have a level of creativity and passion to actually look outside the niche and then feel inspired to, oh, that movie scene makes me want to film B-roll in that sort of style.
Yeah.
That movie scene makes me want to film my next talking head at that angle using that sort of lighting. So you don't have to change like everything. It could just be one thing. With the clone format, we added one more clone. With the street interview, we switched from the street interview as a hook and we went into a breakdown. So there's different ways to package things, but sometimes less is more. You only have to change one thing. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's how I think of it.
Yeah, like it's super important to find creative ways to package your content because that's what's going to determine if people actually watch. But how you actually find a format that suits you, because the truth is like, okay, not everybody can do cinematic content. So there's 3 criteria that I live by when it comes to formats that allow me to produce content at scale, right? Is can I produce that format at scale?
Yeah.
Does that format align with my brand? Can I plug and play all my ideas in that format? If the format that I see meets all those criteria, I can use that format.
Yeah.
And the goal is to get a list of at least 5 to 10 formats.
Yeah.
Right? Have a bunch of ideas and plug and play all your ideas into those formats.
Yeah.
And the reason why we do that is because we want to make the most out of the idea. The truth is most people go wrong. They post one idea, they think it's finished, and then they go and move on to the next.
Yeah.
The truth is a finite amount of ideas. We always run out. But how you make the most of one idea is by testing multiple different formats that you find that actually suit you,
100%.
right?
Yeah, like something that you preach is like 7-11-4. And what allows you to unlock that level of volume isn't more ideas, but it's just like you mentioned, repackaging into different formats.
Yeah.
Countless times we've taken the same idea and thought about how can we execute this differently.
Yeah, because like once you have the ideas, once you have the clarity, and once you have the intention, it's just distribution.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
volume. Right?
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, like it always comes down to at least 10, 12 problems that everyone is suffering from.
Yeah.
And then it's just volume.
Yeah.
But to be able to produce content at volume is just understanding how to recycle the ideas that you constantly have. And that's achieved through formats. But that moves on to the next thing that I want to talk about. It's distribution. So how can we actually manage a team of editors and creatives and build a system where we're distributing at least 50 times a week? Because our goal right now, and we're meeting that goal, it's
3 a week, 3 carousels a week.
3 carousels a week, 7 videos a week, 5 trials a week,
Yeah.
trial videos a week, 1 YouTube video, 3 story sequences.
Yeah.
Accumulate that over a week's time period, we give ourselves 50 chances to go viral. And we already experienced that. Our second carousel that we ever posted, 50,000 views, 4.5K profile visits, and around 500 followers that came from it. So how can we develop a system that allows us to make content at scale and also distribute content at scale as well, because that's arguably the most important thing.
Yeah.
Alex Hormozy, on his second account, he posts around 5 YouTube videos a day, 20 short form pieces of content a day as well. How can other business owners develop a system like that? And how have we developed our system where we can post around 50 times a week as well?
Before I even move on to that, something that we speak about a lot is this whole thing about like treating content as lottery tickets. I don't want the people watching this to be like, to misunderstand what we're trying to communicate, because you can spend time creating formats, but our journey was like, we went months without something going viral, but after like numerous inputs, after hundreds of inputs, we had one viral carousel. So it's like, this is why distribution, what we're about to move on to, is so important. Putting yourself in a position where you're investing as much time into these so-called lottery tickets, so you're in a position to receive that luck, is going to be your key to success when it comes to content, when it comes to personal branding, building profitable personal brand, or unlocking more qualified leads. Putting yourself in a position where you are more accessible to that luck through volume, which is why distribution is so important. If you don't focus on distribution after like nailing all the points that you and Aiden went through and what we began with, then no one's going to see what you do, and like your pot of luck just grows smaller and smaller. Idea. You start with an idea, and let's say we turn this into like 5 different formats. We've ideated one idea. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pieces of content from one idea. Now it's all about having the correct like SOPs in place, so then when you hand over these different formats of content, the editors can act independently to actually edit.
You would say make a SOP for every single format that you've acquired.
Yeah. So like, what is the criteria for that to qualify as a successful piece of content? So we have a SOP that goes through like, what does a successfully edited green screen video look like? What does a successfully edited street interview video look like? The fonts, where we place in the footage, how to crop it, etc. And not only that, the SOP also walks through. We can give an editor one idea, and he's able to now repurpose it into these sort of videos, depending on like the idea, like what type of idea is it? Is it an authentic idea? Is it a value-oriented idea? Because if it's something value-oriented, we'll probably go for green screen and we'll probably go for verses. We wouldn't probably do a POV clip for a value-oriented idea. It wouldn't make sense.
So what we do after this is we make different variations of this for trial reels. So now imagine every single version that we post on the main page has a different variation that we post on trial reels.
Yeah, and it's all just building proof of concept.
Building proof of concept, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that we do is we film a YouTube video and then we just clip it down. We give it to a clipper to get the clip, and then we give it, this is important, to an editor
To format it
and curate the clip.
Yeah.
So there's 2 systems that we use. We have our SOPs, where we SOP every successful format, and then we make multiple versions for trial reels, and then we use YouTube
To clip it down.
to hand it to an editor as a format and produce it.
I think the key to this as well is your YouTube is going to help a lot when it comes to achieving that volume. My criteria for a successful YouTube video, if you're not getting 8 strong clips from one YouTube video, like you haven't planned it properly, you haven't done the pre-production properly, you haven't executed the idea well enough.
I would always say, as a business owner, your focus should 100% be on the YouTube. The reason why is because the lifetime value of a YouTube video is much longer than the lifetime value of an Instagram video.
Yeah.
And if you are producing YouTube videos at scale and you find a way to systemize and automate that, right? And you're generating at least 8 clips from a YouTube video, you now free up so much time to focus on making short form content with intention. And that's how you eventually end up posting content at scale and having a good distribution system.
Yeah.
A lot of times people overcomplicate distribution, but the easiest way to do it is get good at YouTube, build a YouTube audience, which is an argument, which is difficult within itself, right? And then just clip it and then get your editors to do the work.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a content team and you're solo, this is the best way to do it. Find formats that suit you and then develop and then make multiple versions of it.
Yeah, and this could just be refilming the hooks as well, because something that we do a lot is just make voiceovers after we film the content.
Yep, 100%. This is how we produce 50 posts a week and optimize for volume whilst keeping quality high as well.
Yeah, because sacrificing the quality just means you're not going to attract those qualified buyers as well. What makes this workflow successful is what people do when it comes to systems and workflows. They begin to automate and systemize things that they weren't doing before.
Yeah.
The whole point of creating these systems and workflows is replacing things that are a bit monotonous, that take time or that you're doing repeatedly. I was repeatedly giving editors, revisions on all of these different formats, and it was always the same revisions. So documenting that process was so important into just one document, into one lean video, meant they can now operate independently. Same with the Clippers, the YouTube, we did the same thing.
Yeah. Now, one of the biggest issues I've seen, okay, you can have this, you can have all the SOPs down, but a system is only successful, especially human systems, is only successful based on the talent that you hire,
100%.
right? You've done something quite well with the content team where what we go through in the call, I'll break down how I manage these guys and like the workflow that you've set up, like the work blocks as well. So I want you to break that down as well and how someone else can.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. I worked at a marketing agency for a year, and what helped things move in that marketing agency, and we worked with a lot of corporate clients, was accountability. And I think that's something that a lot of people online just aren't used to, especially like when it comes to working on online business, it's just accountability. And what I noticed is like, let's say you spend 12 hours at your desk, like why am I only receiving one video with a ton of revisions? So a change that we made was we now have a shared calendar, and I get our editors to input like work blocks and descriptions of what they're trying to achieve, and then they input, what did they achieve by the end of it. And because of that shared accountability, because it's not just me who views it, it's the rest of the editors, we're all held to the same standard. Because something that we practice a lot within our team is that you're only as good as the worst player in your team. Right? And no one wants to be the one that's holding us behind. We've had to make a lot of sacrifice up until this point. A lot of new faces have come, a lot of old faces have gone. But that comes with just growing. Some people can take the accountability, some people can't.
And one thing that we've also implemented is a software called LucidLink. And this isn't sponsored yet. It's a tool where if you have editors that are struggling to download massive files of footage, or you're struggling to upload massive files of footage, which takes like hours or even days, which disrupts the whole content workflow. We just upload it onto LucidLink. It takes like a few minutes to upload and a few minutes to download because it's an internal hard drive for your team.
Yeah, it's like a digital SSD.
Digital SSD.
Yeah.
And that just speeds up the workflow so much. And with the way that we organize and upload our footage, we upload the A-roll.
I think how it works is that we take the transcripts from the A-roll. We have a Claude project based just for you. We take that transcript, put it into Claude project to highlight exactly where are the main key pieces of value, key pieces of authenticity. And it requires a level of human touch. So me or the editor will have to go through that and review like, okay, cool, is this actually worth it?
But what we do is we have someone who clips it up,
Yeah.
and then we give it to the editor to curate it.
Exactly.
Most of the times where people go wrong is they clip and curate, then give it to the editor.
Yeah.
What if there's mistakes in the clipping? We always want the clip curation to be with the editor, so he can always go back and
change it.
That's why we've also used LucidLink, and the way that we organize our footage, our B-roll specifically, to make our B-roll so good and cinematic,
Yeah.
is we organize it by event and we organize it by emotion.
There's
as
also
well.
tags on LucidLink as well that you can assign to.
100%.
Yeah.
We go by this philosophy. If I can watch it without the audio and I can understand everything that goes on to a T, that's how we produce editing with intention. That's also like the editing like training that we give our editors
Yeah.
to produce content at scale that's of high quality. But again, editors are really hard to manage. It's about developing a genuine relationship with them where they can see their goals within yours. And how I've been able to do this is I always put my editors first. Their output or their input is a direct correlation to the success of the business.
Yeah.
Like without content going out, Aiden's not going to have food to eat,
Yeah.
right? We're not going to make sales.
Yeah.
Like it starts with motivating them, but most business owners, they think that their editors are the least important part of their business, when in reality, they're the most important part.
Yeah.
So rather than making the relationship transactional, treat them like a brother. Ask about their day, right? Ask them about their goals. Do things that will allow them to achieve their goals as well, right? And that's what we do with our team, right? We help on a weekly call. Before we even talk about my content, we talk about theirs. We talk about the things that they're trying to achieve. And I'm holding them equally as accountable to their goals than my goals. And then we talk about my goals.
Like the main aim with the team calls was the accountability, but building team chemistry as well. We come in the calls and we talk about like, did you work out this week? Have you posted this week? Are you building your personal brand? It's like never the business first, it's always them first, because I think a mindset that we try to instill is that you're not working for us, you're working with us. We're all striving to achieve the same goal, but what I notice with a lot of content teams, they're working against each other.
So that is how you build an audience of qualified buyers. As you can see, there's so many nuances into it. It's not just the content that you're posting, it's everything within your business. It's how your teams work together. It's the intention behind your content, how much research you're putting in. It's how you're managing your team as well. So if there's one workflow that I want you guys to follow, it's first do the research, then come up with the ideas, then find out how you want to package your content ideas, and then go into the producing. And what I mean by producing, it's the scripting, it's the video editing, and it's the management of the team. So I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And if you're interested in building your personal brand, there's a link below. Feel free to book in. And yeah, take care, guys. Peace.